Hey guys, what's up? On this video, I'm gonna talk about the Predator classes on Predator Hunting Grounds, and I wanted to make like a summary on what are my views on all the classes, just make a brief evaluation on everything that I think related to the classes. You know, there have been a lot of discussion in regards to specifically the Bionic class ever since this DLC class was added into the last update. A lot of people have been calling it the new meta, asking me all the time, oh, is this the best Predator class? Is this the way to go? Is it a pay to win because it's a DLC and he's better into the classes? I'm like, calm down, no. First off, he's a good class. His stats are very good. It's finally like a good class. Most of the DLCs in this game for Predator are just quite bad. It's just like pay to lose. So you have, I don't call him pay to win just because he's better than in some of the other classes. I mean, most Predator classes are bad. That's the general approach here. Most of the Predator classes are not really that effective to deal with the fireteam, because the fireteam in this game is overpowered. It's something that I mentioned many times and make videos making fun of the whole situation with the Fireteam Hunting Grounds, which is how we really should call this game, because Fireteam has the advantage. Fireteam can be really overpowered. So to say that just because one Predator class has good stats, and he's not the only one with good stats, I mean, Wolf, City Hunter also have good stats. Valkyrie at launch, she was also called pay to win, and they ended up nerfing her, which was not the case. I mean, anyone that played private games games with real good Fireteam players, you know, back when the Valkyrie was launched, it was like before the specializations back then, when she was called pay to win, and they ended up being nerfed. She wasn't really helping like the players at the time win more in the game, you know. She was like a hunter that couldn't carry traps. She could be better than Scout and Berserker, but then again, that's like almost every other class. So it was like unnecessary to nerf the class. And it's the same thing with Bionic. I don't know if they're gonna maybe try to nerf it because people are complaining. I don't think at this point Illfonic is gonna do it, because Illfonic kind of stopped giving a shit about the game. I don't think they're gonna even bother. But yeah, what I'm getting into, just because one classic has good stats, some good useful stats, doesn't change that the fighting still has the advantage on this game. Like, he's still like a Predator that in this game he still has like the same pretty much HP has all the other classes, meaning the fighting can just second win him in like 3 seconds. So it doesn't really matter if he has more energy or he has a good specialization or whatever. It doesn't matter, because the fighting can still really out damage him and just kill him in like just a few seconds. Any people have to consideration, I'm just talking about fighting damage while using meta weapons. When you take consideration other overpowered things of the fighting, such as overpowered specializations, perks that are completely overpowered in certain classes because of stacking of perks together with passive abilities, together with perks, like you have the stacking of the damage stacking, this passive that reduce the damage of the fighting that they take. When you take all that stuff in consideration, like Recon using the Tracker perk, Dante and support using Field Medic or Dante Fanatic, and when they are using like Thick Skin, OW, Alpha Trained perk, and they have the passives of damage reduction for teammates, which the support has, damage reduction while running, that the Dante has. When you take consideration all the tools, all the abilities of the fighting, even if they were to make, in my opinion, like a Predator class that had like maxed stats, it's still gonna be enough, which is not the case for the Bionic, because he has only 9 perk points, which is not good at all. Like, it limits a lot of his potential. Usually it's better to have at least 11 perk points. That is the optional for Predator class in this game. But still, like, he's just decent, and he's good. I have been using, he has become like my main class just because of how much I use energy, which is something that I end up benefiting more for this class. I mean, I think a lot of players won't benefit much from the Bionic, not as much as me. I benefit more from this class, mainly because I use a lot of energy, because I use a lot of plasma, because as many people know, I am known as the biggest plasma spammer on this game. So yeah, I need a lot of energy because I use a lot of plasma. So the more energy, the better. He has more energy than Elder, he has more energy than Cleopatra, Wolf, Mr. Black. He's the class with the most amount of energy, and he has infinite cloak and thermal vision, and I use a lot of thermal vision. Most Predator players, they don't use that much thermal vision. Most of them actually think it's harder to see what is happening in the match, to see the fighting, locate the fighting with thermal vision. So they don't use much. So I mean, for me it's great, because I spend most of 90% of the match in thermal vision. As people see me in private matches, I'm always using thermal vision. So for me, I get a lot of benefit from this class. But for those that don't play like me, don't use a lot of thermal vision, don't use a lot of plasma, or they just don't have a chance of using that much plasma because they get spotted and just melted really fast. Because in my case, like, I know how to better use plasma, I know the best angles position, how to hide my laser, which is why I haven't not used the Elder much. I have been using Bionic instead of Elder, because with the Elder, it was mainly about the, where's my Elder? Shit, where? Okay, okay, here. Yeah, it was this combination here with the detail lens. I've been gotten pretty good in hiding my laser, being able to use the plasma without it. The only reason to use the Elder Stalker was because of the detail lens combination, which needed more parry points. But since I'm becoming good with that, and I don't need to, I'm becoming good with hiding my laser, I don't really need it. And I have been using more the plasma pistol lately than the plasma caster, so I don't really need that perk, and I don't even have to worry much about ever running out of energy, even with if I do plasma, because of how much energy this class has, the fact that he doesn't drain energy while being cloaked and using thermal. So I get a lot of benefits from this class, but I don't think most players will get. It's mainly because of my playstyle. I mean, anyone that saw my last videos of using Bionic Stalker in privates, yeah, this class can maximize the potential for the gameplay, but it doesn't mean it's overpowered. It's just that it can make the best out of something. That is like one of the few viable ways that the Predator can fight against pre-made PC fighters on this game. It doesn't mean it's like overpowered. It's just like really it's like the only option, the only optional way to fight, which is kind of which I have found out about. And maybe I have been using large pulse thematic instead of downrange. This combination is very good. And since I mainly use the T3s, which are another thing that I want to talk about, the Stalker specialization, I get a lot from this specialization because I'm mostly attacking from the branches, and in the branches, while you're moving the branches, even if you're like kind of running, you don't lose stamina. When you leap from one branch to another, it doesn't count as a leap that costs stamina. So I don't really lose much stamina because of my playstyle. So this class is perfect for it. Because first, like I said, I use a lot of thermal vision, I use a lot of plasma caster, I need a lot of energy for it. And because I play from the branches, most of the time I can have my stamina full. Stalker is very easy for me to control. It's very easy for me to control having my stamina full, so I can get the damage boost from this specialization. And ever since it was added, ever since they added specialization, Stalker has been called like the meta. Oh, it's the best specialization, mainly because of how easy it is to take advantage of it. Like, Analytic requires the scanning, Fervent only works for the first skill, and Stalker, as long as you're standing still, like shooting plasma from a branch, like protected away from the Fireteam where they cannot spot you, it's good because it's a damage boost that is easy to control, and it works better. I mean, to stand still, you cannot stand still close to the Fireteam, otherwise they can just shoot you and take a lot of your HP. It's better to do that when you are away from the Fireteam, and the further away from the Fireteam, the easier it is for you to take more damage. Like, otherwise you can get a close range, the closer you are to the Fireteam, the easier it is for them to apply damage to you and just make your HP go down from 100 to 0 in 3 seconds. But so Stalker is coming into hand because of that. It was called, I remember like when they added specializations for the Predator, people would say, oh, Elder is the new meta, because back then it was before Cleopatra came, before Bionic, all the other classes. And back then, a lot of people started using Elder because of it. Nobody used Elder before the specializations because he didn't, before specializations, I mean, a lot of people didn't see any reason to use it. And then when they added Stalker, oh, this is great because you can get a damage boost very easily. Everybody started to use Elder. I already use it. If anyone go to my old videos, before specializations, just a few weeks before they added the specializations, I had decided to use the Elder mainly because of the energy, because I wanted to be able to do more plasma shots with that detail lens perk build that I had. But a lot of people just assume that Elder Stalker is the best one, but they don't realize that it's still like, of course, it's easy to take advantage of this damage boost, but you still need to know how to use plasma, and it's not as simple as much people think. Like, you need to know the best angles and positions to use it from. And against a good Fireteam, most of the people that say that using plasma caster is easy, they never played a Predator against like a pre-made Fireteam. Never the case. It's not that simple. So yeah, Bionic has become my main class. I think it's the best one for my kind of playstyle. If you're gonna compare him to like Cleopatra or Elder, which also have like Stalker, I think he's overall better. In my opinion, after testing him this so much, he's really overall better. He has a little more HP than Elder, a little less than Cleopatra, but it's like in practice, when the fighting is melting you, the difference is minimal. It's like half of a second more that you can take more damage than the Elder and less than the Cleopatra. It doesn't make much difference. The main advantage over Cleopatra and Elder, in my opinion, is the fact that he has a good amount of stamina. He doesn't need adrenal boost, because in my opinion, to be able to run Cleopatra or Elder well, gonna have to run adrenal boost. You're gonna have to use that build that I showed, like for the Elder. Wrong one. This one. You need it because, especially against Fireteams, they want to chase you at one point. They can multitask, do intimidation, and chase you and pressure you at some points. Without adrenal boost, like usually Fireteams are like running like scouts to double time, meaning like anyone said some private matches with Gasp, Thunderwolf, they would just chase me down. Without Adreno boost, it's really hard to get away from 2 scouts with double time chasing you through half of the match, so it's complicated. So this class he forces me to use Adreno boost, and Stalker together with downrange and Little Lenses, the whole thing about this build is all about maximizing plasma caster damage. And with the Bionic, I don't need to use Adreno boost, unlike the other class. So even though he has less perk points, 9 perk points, while Cleopatra and Elder have more, he doesn't need to sacrifice 1 slot for Adreno boost. So that's mainly one of his biggest advantages. Of course, more energy, infinite thermal, and cloak. Elder and Cleopatra have more energy than the average, but they do not have infinite thermal and infinite cloak, which is just great for the. He's a better Cleo, he's a better Elder in my opinion at this point. Even if I were to make a Detail Lens build, which is like Detail Lens and downrange, like the one that I did before, he can do this better than the Elder. He doesn't need Adreno like the Elder who have Adreno here. He can carry the same amount of gear, which doesn't even go to full. Like I don't even need 15 gear points. He can carry everything, and he has more energy. Just because he has more energy to do more of the plasma shots, he's already making better than the Elder. Like he doesn't need the having less perk points doesn't make a difference. He doesn't need Adreno boost to function well, to move around well. Especially if like me, you just leap to the branches instead of leaping normally, which doesn't cost stamina. He doesn't need Adreno, and he has more energy. So even if I were to use the Detail Lens build, this class will do it better. He can do it better than the Elder. He can do it better than Cleopatra. So he's the best Stalker for sure. Like Elder and Cleo are a thing of the past by now. A lot of people like the Cleo because of the movement speed, but his movement speed is even, I think, is a little faster. Yeah, I mean, you cannot be this stats that you see here in the game. They're not 100% reliable, because here you can see that Bionic has full maximum movement speed. Same as Wolf, right? But no, it's wrong. Wolf is actually faster, because I think Wolf is so fast that like they could not, like, they would have like to add another bar here to the movement speed to show Wolf, but in the end they were not, they couldn't do it. So, but that's still like, so it's not 100% accurate, this kind of thing. I separate the classes in this game by usually like there's the Scout variants, the Hunter variants, the Berserker variants, and there are those are like a mix in the middle. I would say like and there I would say the Stalker variants, because like Cleopatra, Elder, and Bionic, they are kind of like, I would say like they are like a class on their own. Like I mean, Emissary, Mr. Black, or Viking are Berserker variants. Exile, Falconer, they are Scout variants. Just City Hunter is like a Hunter variant. The Elder and the older ones, Stalkers, they are close to the Hunter. They can be considered like almost like a Hunter variant, but so they have more energy, like a Berserker. While like sometimes those don't have like as much stamina, like a Berserker also have less stamina. But some of them happens to have more movement speed. It's like a mixture. It's like Wolf. Wolf is a complicated matter, because he's, in regards to gear and perk points, he's like a Scout, but he's super fast. He's even faster than the Scout, but he has the stamina of almost a Berserker. So they kind of like mix it up the stats. Like I don't even know how to classify Wolf exactly, because he has like the gear perk points of the Scout, but he has a lot of energy, like even more than a Berserker, because usually Scout has low energy, Hunter has medium, Berserker has a little more. But he has more energy, he has a little more HP, like between Hunter and Berserker. He has less stamina, but he's super fast, and it's just like, I think at this point, I mean, with Wolf and the last ones, I think Illfonic just throw like handle stats. They just throw whatever handle stats they come to their minds, and that's it. But okay, so let's talk about the standard classes. Jungle Hunter or Hunter, whatever, like the default class, I still think it's good. I think that the good combination that I always bring up, which is downrange American Large Bounce, and if I could run this on the Bionic class, would be great. But I still think that being able to, because for me it's very easy to use to have my stamina full, to have the damage burst on Stalker, and if I'm hitting most of the shots with the Plasma Pistol, I think it's manageable without the downrange perk. And I do like protection, so like between here, I would love to use downrange here, so I could have even more damage. But I do think protection is good, especially if I'm going against a squad that is using multiple snipers and they're very good at doing headshots. Protection can sometimes be more useful than having downrange here. It just depends on the situation. But if I could use downrange here, he would be really being able to do a good amount of damage. But this spare combination here of downrange medic and large balance was the reason why the Hunter class, Jungle Hunter, whatever, was considered to be the meta for a while, like before specializations and even after they had specializations, just because people wanted to run this combination here. It was considered to be the meta. Like City Hunter is good, has analytic, but he cannot run this pair combination. Elder, Cleopatra, they can try to run this pair combination, but like I said, they kind of need Adrenal to function properly, especially against aggressive Fireteams that try to chase you. Without Adrenal, you're gonna feel very limited. The Hunter is just a very well balanced class. He has a good amount of pretty much everything. In theory, because I mean, for me, I cannot play much with the Hunter right now. Because for me, because of the amount of energy that I use, the amount of thermal vision, cloak, and plasma, is not enough for me. I feel like limited because I got so used to Bionic, having not only a lot of energy for plasma, but having infinite thermal and cloak. I cannot use Jungle Hunter anymore, unfortunately. I mean, of course, against handle players, but in privates, I'm so used to just the energy of the Bionic, because this feels low. This feels low for me. And like Scout class feels like impossible. Like I cannot play with the Scout-like classes anymore, because the energy is just way too low for me. It's just frustrating for me how easy I can run out of energy. Like even Hunter for me, he doesn't have enough energy for me. It became like it's just not possible for me to use this class anymore. But he's very well balanced, like good stats in everything, like speed, stamina, HP is all manageable. He has a good amount of gear. You can bring medicas and traps. With traps, is one of the most useful gears that you can use. He's good at everything. The only problem is that he lacks damage. You can, of course, instead of Tracker, which I think is one of the best options, you can use Fervent, but it only helps against the first one, and I don't think it's enough. Unfortunately, I don't think it's enough. And to be honest, maybe there have been people that bugged the Stalker specialization on the Hunter class, but to be honest, it doesn't help that much from what I saw from people playing it. It didn't help them that much because Stalker is mainly, like I said, about shooting Plasma Caster, charging Plasma Caster shots while you're standing still, so you can get the damage boost from not moving. And the Hunter class doesn't have enough energy for a lot of Plasma. I still think that Tracker has a lot of potential to be strong, but not with these weapons. I think that this combination here of combat stick and bow can be very good. I think it can, even without damage boost, even with only downrange, it can still be good against a good Fireteam pre-made. The problem is that it requires you to not miss a lot. Like, you don't have much room for error. As long as you're always hitting the shots, it can work well. The problem is that, like, for at least lately, in the last times people trying to use Jungle Hunter in private games, I mean, me, Gasp, it didn't work so well. We had to use the disc, which is gonna come down. I think this here is one of the most OP builds, because with the disc, you don't really need damage boost. The disc on its own is already capable of doing a good amount of damage, and as long as you are doing the double hit with the disc, you're gonna be downing everyone. You don't need to do an insane amount of damage with the disc. As long as you're hitting each fighting player twice, he's gonna get down. You're gonna be able to down pretty much like any class, unless they have like a Dante together with a support and they're all running thick skin, and the damage reduction might be able to recur 3 hits. But in most situations, you can down anyone with and with the Tracker specialization, you can always find the Fireteam, so it's the best weapon to prevent the reinforcements. I use it for a while. There are old videos of me using this in privates, and it works very well. Like, even when they had a support class to give damage resistance, even if they had, like, there's no match, they even have a field medic in privates. And with the smart disc, it doesn't matter. With the smart disc, you can swing the smart disc so fast in the air. You can down multiple Fireteam players. You can down them so fast, and you just keep repeating the process. Use the smart disc, down someone, decrease their numbers, and then when there is only one guy left, you just use Tracker and fight him. He cannot hide. Like, the disadvantage of the other classes is that even if you have more damage, like Stalker, you can get more damage and because of that, you get more kills faster. There is always the possibility that the last guy is gonna hide in the mud and he's gonna be able to counter reinforcements. You cannot prevent it. With Tracker, you can always have a better chance of preventing it. So I still think that this is a very good option for privates. I mean, if you're gonna use the smart disc, I think it's better to use this than another class, because if you're gonna use the smart disc, if your focus is on the smart disc, you don't need like a class to have a lot of energy, because your focus is not plasma like a Bionic. You don't need the Stalker specialization for more damage, because with the disc, damage is enough. You just need to double hit the Fireteam and he's gonna go down. Even without that range, they're still gonna go down with double hits. So you don't need more energy. You don't need Stalker. If you're gonna use the disc, I still think that the default class with Wrecker is the best option to go. Capture is the same thing. Let's move on to Scout. My brief opinion on the Scout. He doesn't have enough energy and not enough HP. A lot of people say, oh, he has the most amount of perk points, but which is not really good. It doesn't make much difference because of his low HP, you're kind of forced to use Impenetrable. You're forced to sacrifice one slot, one perk slot, just for this perk. So in theory, he actually has two perk slots and nine perk points. Kind of like he needs to use Impenetrable so he can be kind of like in the same level as Hunter in HP. You are kind of forced, so it's not good. Like I think a classes that require you to use a perk to make it equal. I mean, the best classes, overall classes, are more well balanced. The Scout and the Berserker, they are just too spread out into the spectrum, you know, of the stats in this game. Scout has like an excessive stamina and not enough energy. Way too low energy. His energy is way too low. Especially because, I mean, we all know that in privates, you need to use ranged weapons, you need to use the Plasma Caster. And he doesn't have it. You're gonna energy overload so often with this class. Like, you don't have enough energy to engage. You're gonna end up like decloaking. And if you decloak, if you have to turn off your thermovision, turn off your cloak, it makes noise, alerts you to the Fireteam, so they're gonna know where you are. So the engagements with the scouts tend to be very brief. You don't have much time for engagement because you're gonna run out of energy before sometimes you even get someone down. And it's always break the engagement and allows to Fireteam to spot you. So that's one of the reasons why I have a problem with this scout. Way too low energy, way too low HP. You can try to make up for that with Impenetrable, but still it won't be enough. Like I tried a while ago a build focused on using the trees, which is kind of playstyle that you guys see me using a lot, which had Impenetrable together with high advantage. He can feel very tanky with this. With those two perks together, when they are on their own, they don't make that much difference in my opinion, but when they are together because of this stacking, which Impenetrable takes away 20% damage from bullets, height advantage takes away 25% damage from anything. So you're gonna have 45% damage reduction from the bullets. That's almost half. So this one makes a difference because when they are together stacking, so you're gonna be able to withstand more fighting damage, but still, like, you don't have like medic or large punch. Like you're gonna have to rely sometimes on piggies. You cannot heal fast. Of course, he has a lot of stamina. Even if he goes second, and he can just run away. But I still don't think it's the optional way. I did try this in privates. It's not bad, especially with the plasma pistol. It's just that it's not optional. Even when I was not using the plasma caster at all and just focus on the plasma pistol, I was still like running out of energy just because of the cloak, because his energy drains way too fast. His energy reserve is just too low. So that's my issue with the scout and all its variants. Pretty much like analytic is a good specialization as long as you're able to scan the fighting. Damage boost is great. Discipline is okay. I think it can help in certain situations. Not completely, because the Predator just makes so much noises. The clicking noises, the removal of clicking noises, I think it works better if you have a class that can carry traps, because trying to throw traps while you're like in a branch together with Discipline can help, because they don't know where you are. A fighting tactic that they use against Predators that they know they like to throw traps from the branches to get trap someone is to wait for the clicking noises so they can know in which branch the Predator is, because the direction so if you have Discipline together with a class that can carry traps, it can work well, but it's not like 100% efficient. I mean, some fightings can just shoot the traps off, so it's really not the best option in my opinion anymore. Like I did try it with the Exile, which I consider to be like a better scout. Like, he has a little more HP. I don't think I managed to run him without Impenetrable, so I can actually use other perks. But it runs with the same problem that he doesn't have enough energy, in my opinion. And his HP is still in the lower side. He doesn't have enough HP. But still, there are good combinations. Like you can use, even now with the plasma pistol, because I think that if you're gonna use Discipline, you might need a range. So you might not be able to use the large bounce medic combination. I think I run this one when I tried this one in privates. He has infinite thermal vision, so together with the modifier reserve, it turns into infinite cloak and thermal, so you're not gonna run out of energy with him while using cloak and thermal together, which was very good for me in those situations. But still, like, I do enjoy the amount of stamina he has and the fact that he can carry traps. I think out of the scout variants, he could probably be maybe the best one. I do think he's a little better than this Falconer. Falconer is the same thing. Then Scout is both Exile and Falconer are just scouts that can carry traps. Have a little bit more energy, not that significant. But the problem is that they have a little more HP, but they do not have the bullet damage resistance that the Scout has. So in practice, it doesn't take that much more damage to second win the Falconer or Exile than the Scout class. I still don't think they are the most optional classes. I mean, Scout variants, Berserker variants, I don't think they're overall the best classes. Best classes in the game are still like Bionic. Bionic is the best Stalker. Hunter with Tracker with the disc, like I mentioned. Maybe City Hunter. I think City Hunter can be good if you're good at scanning, and Wolf. I think those kind of have like become the best classes for what they can offer, you know, for their kind of builds. The what is it? What is it? The ones on the Falconer again? The specs. I mean, Falconer also has tracker. With the disc, you can be used, but still, like it runs into the same problem, which it is that if you're gonna use tracker, you might want to use the smart disk. But I remember in some occasions which I used the smart disk with this class, I was like decloaking. I was like, while using thermal vision, my energy was going down, and I sometimes I remember there's one time I decloaked while using the smart disk, and the fight ended up killing me because of it, because I didn't even realize how low my energy was. And you might want to use impenetrable even then. You can try without impenetrable, but I don't think I think that even though Exile and Falconer have more HP, like I mentioned, they don't have much. They don't have the same damage resistance that the Scout has. In practice, they don't have enough HP. Yeah, their HP is like between Hunter and Scout in practice in a match, which is not enough. Like even Hunter class is already very easy to melt. Falconer Exile is just not enough in my opinion. It's just really not enough. You might want to. I mean, Falconer you can put impenetrable. He has more perk points. But with the Exile, he doesn't have enough perk points to have impenetrable. If you put impenetrable, you won't be able to use other ones that can be more helpful. He doesn't. You're gonna like if you put impenetrable, you can only like use one more perk. Only gonna be able to use 2 perks. So that's a big disadvantage. Biggest disadvantage of the Exile would have to be low energy and the low perk points. I mean, even though he can carry traps, he's like better in some ways than the Scout. His perk points kind of limiting a little bit. Let's see, other one. Valkyrie is kind of like you can kind of call her like a Scout variant. She's really between Scout and Hunter, but not in regards to gear. She has like gear. I mean, she's the only one that is close to the Scout and that cannot carry traps like Falconer and Exile can. She has a little more energy. She has less energy, which is not really suitable for plasma usage. She has stamina, speed is good. She has a little less HP. She used to have more HP, but they end up nerfing it. It appears that she has more, but in practice she does. Here in the stats, it appears that she has more HP than the Hunter or City Hunter, but in practice she does not because she doesn't have the bullet damage resistance. So in practice, the amount of bullets to second wind a Valkyrie and a Hunter, I think actually the Hunter is able to take a little more damage than her. I think she's okay class. But nobody uses her in privates anymore, to be honest. I very rarely use it. I mean, people use in privates only what really works. And she's just not there. She's okay, I guess. If you can try to use her with Fervent, you can use the good combo of downrange medic and large pounce to her. Stamina and speed, she has she has those good stats. But she still doesn't have a good amount of energy. She's just okay. I think she's an okay class. Especially because of this combination here, and she doesn't require. I don't think she's required to use impenetrable. It might not even be necessary on her, but I still don't think she's just optional. I mean, nobody uses. I haven't used her in privates in a while, so not really the best case in my opinion anymore. Alpha Predator, another kind of like variant here, Scout variant. You can try to run this pair combination, but I don't know, he melts so fast. I think that ulti class with the Scout, they just have the way too little HP. I mean, every Predator just melts so fast in this game, and if you have a Predator that has less HP than the average, it's just not optional. It's the same thing, has a good amount of stamina, speed, but it doesn't make up for his low energy and low HP. It's just always the same. It's just always the same. Like, it doesn't make up. That's why I always say the best class are the ones that are balanced. I don't have much weaknesses that stand out a lot. Which next one I should talk about? Yeah, the Berserker variants. Let's wait. Where's the one that I was looking at here? Berserker is the worst class in the game, as I mentioned many times. Like, he has only bad specializations. Like, not really the best ones. Even though the Enraged is bugged, like, once you trigger the Enraged at low HP, it stays on even if you heal, but it really doesn't make much difference. He has low perk points. Gear points are high, but doesn't really matter. He's slow. All the classes that look like him are just way too slow, have bad stamina. I would say, like, Viking is the same thing. The only difference is that he has more perk points, so it's better. But it's not enough. With this class, you might be forced to use Adrenal Boost, just because of his low stamina. Otherwise, you won't be able to move around a lot. But if you use this, you don't have much options to bring here. If you want more damage, like downrange, you only have 1 point left. You cannot put anything good here. And you need a damage boost in this class. I mean, if you're gonna use Berserker, since his perks, his specializations, don't really give much of a damage boost, you might need to put a damage boost on his perks. But he doesn't, but it just limits him. It's just terrible, like he's worse overall. He's like a big, slow target with shit stamina, forces you to use Adrenal boost to be able to function well. And he doesn't have enough perks points to be able to put 2 other good perks that will allow you to survive longer. The Viking can. With the Viking, you can use like Adrenal downrange, and you can put large pounds or medic. Oh wait, you can try to use that, but he's still slow. He still doesn't have enough stamina. It would be better to not have to use Adrenal boost, but you're kind of forced with this class. His energy, the energy with the Berserker and Viking classes, they have higher energy, but I kind of feel like in practice their energy drains faster. I think like it's kind of weird stats. Like we have classes that have more energy, but some of the stuff like Cloak and Thermal seem to drain a little faster while they are being used. You know, so even though they have more energy reserves, the drainage of Thermal and Cloak sometimes feel like it's faster in those classes. So it doesn't really make much difference. Like his speed. He has more HP, which is like the supposedly it's the strength of the Viking and the Berserker, that they have more HP, but it doesn't really make much difference. It's like 150 or 250. That's like he can take like 1 more sniper shot in the Hunter class. It's not much difference. It's not enough. Like it's same thing with this that I mentioned with the Scout class. The Scout low energy and HP doesn't make up. It's not enough to. I mean, it's my mistake. The Scout, his stamina and speed doesn't make up for his low HP and low energy. With the Berserker, his high HP, it doesn't make up for how slow he is and how low his stamina is. It doesn't make up for it. It's better to just pick a class that is more balanced. The Samurai is like in this weird spot. I remember like back then when it was launched and people would say it was called the worst class in the game. I think it's better than the Berserker now, mainly because it has better specializations. But I remember like when it was launched, people would say that it was the worst because he was like a worse Hunter and a worse Berserker. Like he was like a mixture of both. But we like he couldn't do the job of the Hunter as well as the Hunter, and he could not do the job of the Berserker as well as the Berserker. He was like in this spot where he has like the weakness of both classes and not really the strength of either. That's what people called it at the time. But then they gave like Ghost and Fervent, which is better specializations than what the Berserker has, so it's kind of okay now. I mean he's better than the Berserker, but still I don't think he's most optional, especially for the gameplay of using ranged style. It's just not the most efficient one. He's still a little too slow. His extra HP doesn't make much difference. His stamina is not good enough. You might be forced to use Adrenal even on this class. So, and he doesn't have much perk points, so use Adrenal here. You won't be able to put many other perk combinations here. It's gonna be limited by this, so he has the weakness. I mean, any class that have like 10 perk points or less, I call it a weakness. It's not optional, because the optional is always at least 11 perk points, so you can run downrange medic and large punch. But then there are classes that kind of you are forced to sacrifice 1 slot to run Adrenal boost or impenetrable. That's always a problem. Like it doesn't really matter the perk points. If you are forced to sacrifice 1 slot to either use Adrenal boost or use impenetrable. Like if you have to use that, it's better to just use a class that doesn't have to sacrifice a slot for those perks. Other ones, there's Mr. Black. He's, I think, the only Berserker variant that doesn't require to use Adrenal boost, so that's not good. That's actually good. I think he's the best one at the Berserker classes. You can use downrange, medic, and large punch. His best specialization is vicious, so it's okay. Not the best one, but it's okay. His main weakness is that he is really slow. He's the slowest class in the game. He's even slower than the Berserker. He's really slow. The worst class in regards to speed, and speed does matter in this game. You need to move fast, and that's a big weakness. But I mean, he does have a good amount of stuff to make up for it. I mean, he has more HP, of course, but again, that's not enough to make up for low speed. What he does have that was useful for me, and why I mained this class for a while, was his high amount of energy and infinite thermal vision. He has a good amount of thermal. Yeah, I actually would use a Detail Lens build with him, similar to the one that I used on my Elder. I would use the same build, but with him I don't used to use Adrenal, so I would use Large Punch instead, and this is actually good. If you're gonna focus on plasma usage, it can be efficient, but unfortunately it's better to use the Stalker. Like that's the trade-off between him and the Elder. He doesn't have to use Adrenal boost, he doesn't have to use Adrenal boost like the Elder does, but the Elder has Stalker and Mr. Black doesn't have it. He has Vicious, which It's not bad, like, but the problem is that once you get someone down, Vicious is great. The problem is getting someone down, and usually Stalker helps much more with getting someone down because of the damage boost. But I think he's okay. I get why people even using him now. But still, like, if you're gonna go with the disc build, I think the best disc build, like I said, is just Jungle Hunter, whatever. Because if I go with the disc, you don't need the damage boost. Just use disc with the tracker. That's what I would use. If I'm gonna use the disc, just use with Jungle Hunter. And you have the tracker specialization, so you can always find the Fireteam. That's the best option in my opinion. What is missing? I talk about this. Emissary, Emissary, another Berserker variant, like same perk and gear points, same problems, but he doesn't need, I think, let's see, what's his stamina again? Yeah, his stamina is bad. You might want to run Adrenal on him, and that's already gonna limit him because you're sacrificing a gear slot. His weakness is that, is not only that, I mean, he's faster than the Berserker, which is a good point. He doesn't have the weakness of being slow, being a slow target, but he has less energy, so you're sacrificing energy to have more speed while still having low stamina and low perk points. Now, he's just not good enough. My brief summary, he's just a better Berserker. I think that having more speed is a big good advantage, but still, like, you're sacrificing speed for energy, so he's a little better than the Berserker, but not by that much, you know. Emissary, Viking, Samurai, they are all better Berserkers, but then again, it's like every single class in this game is a better Berserker, so it just doesn't really make too much difference. Oh yeah, City Hunter, I forgot to talk about City Hunter. He's a faster hunter with less perk points and a little bit more energy. For a while, I used to main this class a lot. I used to use it on privates a lot. The fact that he has more energy does help in regards to being able to use more thermal, which comes in hand, so you can scan the Fireteam and get the damage boost for his analytic specialization. But for me, I kind of stopped using this class because he didn't have enough energy for me, not for the amount of energy that I was using, you know. It just wasn't enough. He doesn't have infinite thermal or cloak, unless you use Modifier Reserve. If you put the Modifier Reserve perk on him, you're gonna be able to have Thermal Vision is not gonna cost energy, or Cloak if they're using this separately. But if you use them together, it's still gonna drain your energy. His main weakness is the perk, has always been the perk points, because people always wanted to run downrange Medical Large Pounce on him and couldn't do it. So it was always a problem. Then you can use either Medical Large Pounce on him, won't be able to use them together. This was a build that I would use a lot on him. Modifier Reserve does come in hand, so you can have more energy, so our energy doesn't drain as fast, recover faster. And Analytic is a good specialty. I still think that he's one of the best classes. He's good balanced. He does the price of having only 10 perk points. It's a problem for sure. Like, it is a problem, his perk points, but he makes up for it in comparison to the default Hunter class by having more energy and the analytic specialization. Something that I would change on him is that I believe that to make him better, to make more balance, he shouldn't have the wrist launcher lock it to him. This is a big disadvantage, because he has more gear points. It's an advantage that he should have over the Hunter class, is that he has more gear points. But you cannot use those 12 gear points. You can put, like, same as Hunter, motion detectors and I would like to put, like, audio decoys. Audio decoys could be more useful than the goddamn wrist launcher, which is a very bad gear. That's not gonna. I never use this thing with City Hunter, but he's still one of the best classes. And then we have Wolf, which is kind of like, he's like I mentioned before, he's like in this mixed spot. He has like around same stamina and HP, kind of like Hunter. I know that here it appears that he has more HP than Hunter, but he has a little more, yes, but he doesn't have the bullet damage resistance that classes like Hunter and City Hunter has. So in practice, in regards to HP, it's around the same. He does have a little less stamina than Hunter, but his his stamina regeneration is the same. So so it doesn't feel like that much of a difference. Like, you might see here in the stats, oh, he has same stamina as a Berserker. So I'm gonna have to use Adrenal. Not necessarily, because his his stamina regeneration is good, and that's something that is not here. Like, these stats here, I mentioned in other videos about the hidden stats, and in here, hidden stats are like amount of energy, infinite thermal, infinite cloak, and stamina regeneration. They don't mention the stamina regeneration, which is a thing in this game. So even though he has less stamina than the Hunter, he still have the same stamina regeneration. So it doesn't. For me, when I use him, I don't think it's necessary to use a Adrenal boost on him. You can actually manage. Even though the stats here say that he has same stamina as a Berserker, his energy regeneration is same as Hunter, which is higher than Berserker. So it's actually manageable. His stamina is not that much of a problem with Wolf. And he's the fastest class in the game. He's faster than the Scout, Even though they have the same bar, he is actually faster. Faster than the Scout, faster than the Exile, faster than the Alpha. He's the fastest class. Even though he doesn't have as much stamina as those other classes, he has the most amount of movement speed. He's really fast. And that comes in hand mainly when you like try to chase a fighting around the corners, or like try to the fighting is shooting you, and you want to like to get behind cover. That extra speed does come in hand because sometimes you can get in cover before the fighting does that sniper shot that might kill you. So that extra speed is one of the biggest advantages. The biggest advantage for Wolf are movement speed and his energy. He's the class with the most amount of energy in the game, I believe. Except the Bionic, which just came out. But I think he's the one. I think he has maybe I think he has like almost. I think he and Elder are pretty close, but he has infinite thermal vision, which is a lot of the advantage mainly for me because I was a lot of thermal vision. So in practice, if you have like the Elder and the Wolf using thermal vision and cloak at the same time, the Elder, even if the Elder has like a little more energy because his energy drains by using thermal vision, unlike Wolf, he's gonna run out of energy faster than Wolf. So for a while, I have used many pair combinations on Wolf. Like I would use the Lens build on him. I would use like I used this for a while. Same as the one that I used on Mr. Black, Little Lens, downrange, large punch. I will use this combination here with Awala because plasma. I try to use this with Medic because I can use because of the perk points I can use anything. I use it with Impenetrable because I wanted to see if it makes a difference. I use it with High Advantage, and I reached the conclusion that it doesn't make that much difference if they are together. If I try to use this here is better. I tried this, and it is actually because he has more HP than Scout. With this combination here, he can become really the tankiest class in the game. He's the tankiest class. With this combination here, even like people say, oh, Berserker and Valkyrie are tanky. No, they're not. Wolf with High Advantage and Impenetrable, and if you're gonna play like me and just stick to the branches shooting plasma, he can actually withstand a good amount of fighting damage on this game compared to like what we are usually used to in private matches. So this is actually a good combination for him. Of course, it comes with the price of sacrificing bringing large pound somatic. You're gonna have to rely on Piggies, but it's like nothing's perfect for Predator. Only the fighting is perfect. You can have like classes that are like perfect, like Dante class, which has no weaknesses, has good gear points, good perk points, have good specializations. He's tanky, he has good speed, stamina, he has everything, you know. But for the Predator classes, they all come with a weakness. Even the builds, the perk combinations, Fireteams can use perk combinations that can make them like very strong, like take away their weaknesses. Like the weakness of like Scout class is low HP, but you can just take that away by using Thick Skin and bringing double time to make it even faster. Like the combination of Thick Skin, double time, and Action Hero on the Scout fighting is very strong because you're tankier, you're faster, and with Action Hero it's easier for you to hip fire with the pistol. And with Duelist, you need usually it helps with shooting the pistol with which the Duelist specialization increases damage off. So you can make a pair combination on the fighting that can be very strong. Like you can have like Dutch 87, you put Thick Skin, Gearhead, and Action Hero, so he can hip fire more, so he can get, because of his passive ability of extra damage or hip firing, very powerful. And Thick Skin together with Gearhead increase your survivability by a lot. You have more HP, you have more Sirets to use, so you can make like builds for the fighting to have like no weaknesses. Like even like Assault, you want to make Assault super powerful, just put Thick Skin and Gearhead on him. He becomes like a tanker Assault. I mean, he already can do enough damage. Like, so the only weakness of the Assault is that he might not have enough HP. But then you use Thick Skin and Gearhead, and that is fixed. Like with the Fireteam, you can always use builds, perks, and gear to just remove pretty much like any weaknesses of the fighting classes and make them very strong. But for the Predators, they all come with a price. Like you can try to use this to make it very tanky, but then again you're gonna have to rely on Piggies. You don't have enough medikits, you cannot heal fast enough. Every single Predator build comes with a price. You're gonna sacrifice something. It's never like it's OP or like it always has a weakness. That's what I'm trying to say. Fighting builds, they can be OP. They can be like they have like no weaknesses, especially when you have like teammates. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, if everybody run Dutch 87, they're gonna have the weakness of not having anyone to bring medikits or ammo because they don't have enough gear points for that. But then you can just have one player using support, and then their weakness is over. Like even if the fighting classes have a weakness, they can always like be removed by just adding a support, adding a Dante class, you know, and they have damage resistance. So like the fighting classes, because you have like 4 players, even if each one of the classes have one minor weakness, that weakness can be easily removed by one of its teammates. So fighting, it has an advantage of the fighting because of its numbers. And I mean, as everybody knows, this game was not balanced already 1v4 situations. This game is not balanced on 1v4, and that's why it's so hard to play as the Predator. So yeah, this is a good build. I tried it on privates. Oh yeah, weakness of Wolf is that he cannot carry traps. Low gear points, I think that's the biggest weakness for him. But everything else is fine. I mean, compared to the other ones, HP, stamina, movement speed, great. HP, stamina, it's okay. Gear points, bad. Perk points, I mean, it's good. You can run anything on him. Oh yeah, specialization. I think Assassin is very good. It's not bad. I still think that, I mean, for many playstyles, Stalker, Analytic, and Tracker is still better. Assassin is mainly good if you're gonna use the you're gonna use the thing that you can see in my videos, which I come close to the combi throw and I try to follow with a plasma pistol shot or a bow shot. And why Assassin comes in hand for this situation, for this playstyle, Wolf might be the best one. Because when you throw the combi stick and you hit the Fireteam with it, a lot of them in private matches that we see happening, they know that you're gonna follow with the arrow shot. So what they try to do is try to turn your back on you. They turn their back on you and try to like dodge, run from you. They turn their back on you, try to run for you, jump around, and try to use a threat. But see, because when they turn around to you, if you hit them with the bow, you're gonna do more damage. So like, this is one of the few classes. Because of this, you can actually down a Dutch 87 with just one combi stick throw and one arrow shot, which doesn't happen in any other class. Because the assassin boost is 20%. And there are videos in my private match doing this. I mean, usually for me to down someone that is using Dutch 87 with thick skin and is mudded, it usually requires one combi stick and 2 arrow shots, unless it's like a headshot, but that's rare to happen. With Assassin specialization, if you throw the combi stick and like the Dutch 87 turns his back on you, and you shoot him with the bow, he's gonna get down. You won't have to shoot an extra arrow to get him down, which means you have like less time during the engagement to down the Fireteam, and that is better. Like 1-2 seconds of less that you can take to make the Fireteam gets down faster. It's just less time under fire, less time getting shot by the Fireteam, less time that it takes to get a kill, so it's better. And I think that's it. I think I talked about all the classes. So yeah, okay, best classes in the game, in my opinion, right now. Bionic is the best Stalker. I think he's better than Cleopatra and Elder, for sure. Hunter is still great. Hunter class is still good. But mainly if you're gonna use the Smart Desk, because without a damage boost from like a specialization, using combi stick, bow, plasma pistol might not be enough. So for a build that is focusing using the Smart Desk, Jungle Hunter or Hunter with Tracker could be the best option. You don't need the damage boost. You just need to always be able to find the Fireteam and always use this. It's still one of the best classes. Then I would say Wolf. Wolf mainly because of his super speed, high energy. Those mixed together with the Assassin. I mean, if you're gonna go for the playstyle of coming up close with the combi stick and the bow, this can be a good class. And also because of this pair combination here, if you're gonna use the gameplay of shooting plasma pistol from the branches, that I use a lot, can also be good. Can also be good. But even though these pair combinations allow him to take more fire by the Fireteam, I think that for the playstyle of using plasma pistol from the branches, Stalker is better than Assassin. Like Assassin is more about coming close to the Fireteam to throw the combi stick and follow with an arrow shot very fast. That is the best way, which is very effective. I mean, you can get a Fireteam down with like 2 seconds with this, but it requires much more faster timing, faster reaction time, better aiming, and it's more risky because you have to come close to the Fireteam to pull this. But still, I think he's still like a top class for me. And I think City Hunter is still good overall, especially with the scanning. I think that if you're good with the scanning, he's still very effective. I think he's still good. I still think he's good. Cleopatra and Elder are still good, but I think like for the Stalker, I think the Bionic just does the job of the Stalker Predator class better overall. So Valkyrie is okay. Mr. Black is also okay. Mr. Black and Valkyrie are okay. If someone likes a class with a lot of stamina, you might want to use Valkyrie, or maybe... I think that out of the other ones, the Scout variants, Exile might be the best one. But I've not used it to those other classes because their low energy just frustrated me a lot. Out of the Berserker variants, Mr. Black is the best one, for sure. He doesn't have to use Adrenaline, has a lot of energy. And I think that's it, guys. I'm sorry if this video was kind of boring for some of you, because it's just me talking. I just felt like talking about Predator classes, and I might do at the end of the year if they add another Predator class, I might do another video, a video like this, you know. So, well, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.